Hey there! If you are interested in poise and how to play flowers with poi, you're on the right spot, so stay tuned. Today, in the part 1 video of poi flowers, I will go through you a basic concept of what is a flower, how you can play in-spin and anti-spin flowers and how to train them. And next week in part 2, I will go a little bit deeper into it, how to count it in a proper way and how to combine it with pirouettes. So if you're interested in this content all around the flow arts with poi, stuffs or juggling with rings, clubs and balls, you're on the right spot. Click the subscribe button, ring the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming video. I'm Kai, I run this YouTube channel and I hope you like it. So let's go to the flowers. For the beginning, we don't even need our poi. You can throw them to the side. What are poi flowers? Poi flowers are basically a combination of two circles. One circle describes your arm with the center poi of your shoulder, and the second circle describes the poi out of your wrist. But before we start to use it, we need a little bit of warm-up because the whole movement comes out of the shoulders and I highly recommend to warm them up before, especially if you aren't used to movements like poi flowers. So for the beginning, we just roll our shoulders backwards and forwards and we try to stand straight while we are doing it. And then we can start to use our whole arm. For the beginning, you make a same time split time. So I already introduced here a poi style of move. Basically, which just means one arm points to your back, the other arm points straight forward, and we are going to make huge circles out of our shoulder, and we try to stand straight and don't use too much momentum out of our spine. And then we can change the direction. In this case, it's split time backwards. And the last direction we could train is opposite direction, so one arm is going clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on how you're looking for, and the other arm going to the other direction. And when we are doing opposites with our arms, we do it same time, which basically means that we start with both hands showing to the floor, and then having both hands showing to the top, to the roof, and the same goes downwards. And we change direction. And if we already want to train a little bit of coordination for our poi flowers, we can try to switch between the butterfly, the opposite direction, and the same time direction. And there is one single point where we change the directions, always when we have our arms in a straight line. So in this case, I'm going forward, same time, same split time, same direction. And when I'm hitting the straight line, I change one arm, the direction, and we are in the opposite. And the same can happen again. And so we can work through all the motions of our arm and already get a little bit of training in the coordination with your arms and warm up our shoulders. And basically we have done the first part or the first half of poi flowers, because as I already mentioned, it's a combination of circles. It's all you need to know basically to understand the concept of flowers. So now we grab one poi and I dive deep into it. So we beginning just wrap the poi around our hand, and as a short reminder or understanding, we have same time, which will be both arms are at the same time showing down or upwards, and split time, where it's all vice versa. So all the arms have basically 180 degrees, and we have same direction and opposite direction. And this can be combined from our arm to our poi. For the beginning, we could easily make the simplest flower. We play forward or, from my point of view, counterclockwise, and the arm going counterclockwise as well. And we have here a timing with basically one, like the poi is making one whole rotation. In the same time, the arm makes also a whole rotation. And that's already a flower, if you are really nitty-gritty about the definition, because you describe one circle with your arm and the poi describes another circle. And an easy flower for the beginning, for example, would be a 4-petal in-spin flower. In-spin flower, what does it mean? There are basically two kinds. It's an in-spin flower and an anti-spin flower. And it describes that your arm is going to rotate in the same direction of the poi. So if we are going counterclockwise and our arm is going counterclockwise, this is an in-spin flower. And if the arm and the poi goes into different directions, we have an anti-spin. So in this case, a counterclockwise poi and a clockwise arm is an anti-spin flower. So back to the 4-petal in-spin flower. 4-petal, what does it mean? We have basically 4 of these beautiful leaves, which should be shown here. And how we accomplish that? We are going to make 4 turns or rounds with our poi, like 1, 2, 3, 4, while we are doing in the same time 1 rotation with our arm. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 rotations of the poi while 1 rotation of your arm. And the final product should be like this. And the poi, the flower of the poi looks much better if you try to pay attention where you place the leaves. So these loops of the flower. The best visual way is to have one directly through the floor, opposite to the top, and really straight in 180 degrees, beside from your body. And yeah, now you can basically grab a second poi, or at first train it with your non-dominant hand, in my case the left hand, to make the same movement. And this would be your first poi flower, a 4-petal in-spin flower. So watch it. Basically, that's it. That's all you need to understand the poi flowers. I don't go into every possible poi flower because, as you maybe already noticed, There are such an enormous amount of possible flowers when you simply combine the rotation of your arm and your poi. But before we end, I will go into the butterfly flowers. So basically when your arm is going in an opposite direction. And next week again, you will find infos about the pirouettes and the counting of the flowers. So butterfly flowers or opposite flowers, basically as you already done in your warm-up, you describe opposites with your arm. Important to know is you basically can't do split time with butterflies because your arm would be like this when you're going back, and gently try it yourself. The shoulder blades will block each other. You will break your back and your shoulders trying this move. So the butterfly version of the arms only goes in the same time. So in this timing. And again, we combine this with our movement of the poi. In this case, I start again with an in spin. So pois are going opposite and my arms going in the same direction as the poi. And there you have it in butterfly flower. And just to show it to you, this is an anti-spin of it, that you have seen it. So yeah, that's the concept of the flowers, or how I like to understand the flowers. So basically, yeah, again, 2 circle motions, one with your arm and one with the poi, just combined to a new movement. So maybe you know these old, really old spirograph pencil games where you have such a ring in a ring with a pencil. That's the same. That's all the same how you make all these beautiful patterns. And next week I will dive into pirouettes and into counting, because counting in flowers is a little bit counterintuitive, because for example, if you do an in-spin with 4 pedals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 4 counts. And when you're doing the same as an anti-spin, you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you see, there's a little trick, but I will show you next week. Awesome that you stick to the end of part 1, flower basics with poi. I hope you like it, and I hope I could help you to understand the concept of poi flowers. And if you want to know even more about it, how to count poi flowers and how to combine it with pirouettes, I highly recommend to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell icon, because next week there will be a second video about poi flowers. Until then, here again you find a subscription button, and here another poi video from me. So see you next week.